retro video game nerd, joined by Cody Bowman of Bowman Games and the Arkansas Picker of the Arkansas Picker.
That's right.
We're going to talk about the importance of physical media, not only as three gentlemen who enjoy video games, but from the perspective of two gentlemen that actually buy and sell video games as well.
Yep.
That is what's happening.
My store is located in Malvern, Arkansas, which is a small town. The buying and selling of video games has been going on for me for a while. I used to do it on eBay only. And then I started doing conventions because this guy invited me to one. And then I was hooked. He's actually the reason I quit my job.
So you had a full-time, I remember this, you had a full-time job in Malvern and you just completely quit that and now you're full-time buying and selling video games at your own store.
Yeah, so I was working actually with him for a while and I would get home and open up the store just from like 5 to 9 every night. And then eventually my wife got a good raise and she's like, why don't you just do that full-time? So she let me quit and do that full-time, and it's been like 2 years now I've been doing it full-time.
That's strange.
I know most wives aren't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Must be nice
not.
having a sugar mama.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. And what about you?
My store is Pickers Retro. It is in Benton, Arkansas. It's located in the Last Arcade, 1218 Military Road. I still do pretty much what Cody did a few years ago. I go there in the evenings, and I go there on the weekends. Saturdays, I'll be there noon to 5. People bring me games, toys, beer sign, all kinds of crazy stuff. During COVID, I jumped on the eBay train. I just sold stuff out of my house, and I made like $1,000 the first month, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I started the YouTube channel doing it, and then we started going to conventions. And then everybody on the planet started a game store, so I had to.
You put it off the longest too.
I did put it off the longest,
I'm not doing it.
For years I said I would not do it because really I wanted to open up more of like a flea market or something, like me own the flea market. But this opportunity with the arcade popped up. My store is inside an arcade in Benton. It's like 350 square feet. It was an opportunity for me to just open up a store without owning my own building or leasing my own building. It's tiptoeing into it, pretty much is what I did. It's been really successful. It's carried itself. You know, I'm obviously not like making $1,000 a month on it, but it carries itself fine. It's fun. It gives me something to do.
Yeah, you get to meet a lot of really cool people that like video games.
I guess I should silence my phone.
Should silence your phone. Silence your phone.
Let me put Do Not Disturb on.
My watch will go off at 10 because it goes off every hour on the hour.
The big uproar about physical gaming slowly starting to go away, obviously leading with Sony, with their big decision of choosing to no longer manufacture physical discs for their game console starting in January 2028. That is a huge deal that a lot of us in our 30s and even a little older than that, we're all kind of 30-ish, aren't we? That's a big deal to us because this is something that we've grown up with our entire lives, and now here we are, and it's just going to go away. It feels like somebody that we've known and loved for all this time is going to pass away, and they have an expiration date that we can see. You know, it's heavy. It's really heavy.
It is heavy.
So I figured we could start by talking about the best memories that you guys have of getting physical video games throughout your childhood leading up to adulthood, and how those memories are really important to you.
I don't remember what birthday or whatever it was, but I got the gold Game Boy Color with Pokemon Gold for my birthday one year, and I had that in Super Mario Land. And those were like the only 2 games I ever played on it. And I forgot about Super Mario Land until I started collecting as an adult. And when I got it, just the music brought me back to
there it was
being a kid again. Sitting in my room playing it.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing was we didn't grow up with a whole lot of money. So like when I did get cool stuff, it was usually a tax time. And I got a PS2 and Jak and Daxter. And I sat there and 100% completed that game multiple times because it was the only one I had.
Yeah.
That's probably something that the three of us have in common is that none of us grew up like with a ton of money.
No.
At all.
I was usually a generation behind on all the consoles because I got the hand-me-downs from other people.
Yeah, exactly.
My whole introduction into video games is hand-me-downs. So like literally without physical, like literally my entire introduction into video games would not exist. Well, I guess that literally goes for every person that's into video games.
Yeah.
You know, quantifying it like that, if my big cousin never got tired of his Sega Genesis and it got handed down to me, like I'd never be here, we'd never be talking about video games.
Yeah.
Taking the physical away how many little pickers are we not making now? Because they're not going to get a little crappy, nowadays it'll be a PS4 handed down.
Right,
That's what gets handed down to 7-year-olds now. One day there won't be a PlayStation 7 to pass down or whatever.
I mean, there will be, but it'll going to be digital.
It'll probably be this big. The controllers will dock to the top of it. All right, I'm getting a little.
It'll be $3,000.
It'll be $3,000.
Trademark that right now.
Yeah, it has 3 terabytes of RAM.
But that is a good point. If we're talking about the future generations of kids that are going to be into video games, they're going to have it so much different than we grew up with. They're not going to have physical games that you can go to the store and buy for super cheap that used to be $60 or $70, but now it's old news now. It's 5-6 years old, and it's selling for like $10 or $15 instead of the original selling price.
Right.
They're not going to have that experience, and what I really do worry about for those kids is that they're just not going to have the experience of seeing a game in person and saying, what the hell is this? I've never seen this before. This looks really interesting, and I'm going to take a chance on it, And they're not allowing demos for most games on these digital storefronts either.
Right, yeah, sure.
And they don't do it like you would find on Steam. On Steam, if you see a game that you want, you can buy it, and you can buy it on Steam, and if you don't like it, as long as you don't spend, over 2 hours, you can sell it. Yeah. You can sell it right back to them, get your money back, get a refund or whatever. So that's really our concern, I think, overall, is just we're worried for the future generations with the decline of physical media.
Will somebody think about the children?
Think about the children, man. The kids. The kids are the future.
They are.
What memories do we have as kids, not only getting games as gifts from our parents and our loved ones and family and everything, but what about trading games with friends? I don't know about you guys, but I did this a shit ton when I was growing up, because like we all said, we didn't grow up with a lot of money, but we did have friends who had various video game consoles and video games that we could trade. Specifically, a buddy of mine named Jonathan had a neighbor way back in the day, and Jonathan had an original Xbox and the neighbor had a GameCube. At that particular time, Resident Evil 4 was exclusive to the GameCube. So they just traded consoles for like a couple of weeks just so he could enjoy Resident Evil 4, and that's his first experience with that game. There was a lot of that going around when I was a kid. I don't know about you guys.
So I didn't really do a whole lot of trading, but I had friends that had the consoles, and we would just go over there and stay the weekend and play whatever they had.
Exactly.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was stingy. I didn't.
That's my problem.
Whenever I got a copy of a game, I kept it. But my neighbor had a PS3, and I was still in I was still on PS2, and he had a PS3. So I'd walk up to his house, and it would blow my mind. Dude, we played Army of Two. Oh my god, dude. It was like looking at a real picture. I was like, whoa.
That's how we felt on PS1 too when it first came out.
Oh, yeah.
And, for me, it was my neighbor, like 3 houses down, and his name is Mike. And he actually went into the Army, into like active service. But before that, our big thing that we would do together is play the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games. We would play the hell out of those games.
I never really watched Dragon Ball Z or any of that, but I played all those games with my cousins.
They're great fighting games. Like, they're amazing fighting games. And I didn't really watch it. I mean, I watched it at a buddy's house or something like that, but I was never religious into it like some of those kids were at that time. But Dragon Ball Budokai 1, 2, and 3, those games were so freaking awesome. And when he went overseas, like, I basically just went and borrowed all of those games, and I played them while he was gone, And I would get PS2 games. We'd go back and forth. I'd say, hey, you got to check this out. So that's a really huge cultural thing that we're going to miss out on in the future, being able to just grab the freaking game and take it to your buddy's house.
Put it in and play it right then.
Right then and there. Yeah, it's going to be gone.
We had a big snowstorm in Glen Rose, and this was whenever I was like 15 or 16. We had all just gotten Xbox 360s. We had a LAN party at my buddy's house. Yeah. I can't remember which Halo. It might have been Reach that would let us do a LAN party with the Xbox 360s, but like you had to have there was a certain modem you had to have. Mm-hmm. My buddy Max had it because he was rich. So we went over there and we all linked up, and it was like one of the best gaming memories ever. Of literally walking 3 blocks in the snow with my Xbox to go play at my buddy's house.
Yeah, so that's another thing.
You know.
Like, people aren't going to need Xboxes or anything soon either, because they already have them built into TVs and stuff.
Well, back in my day, we had to walk 3 miles in the snow to play LAN party stuff with our buddies.
I walked a quarter of a mile in the snow with an Xbox on my back.
For me, we did the LAN stuff too, but for us, it was Call of Duty Nazi Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
That was so much. We would sit there and do that game and die over and over and over again, but we'd always want to try again, for hours and hours and hours. That game was so much fun. And nobody does this stuff anymore.
So I didn't really do LAN parties, but I played Gears of War 2 online specifically so much that I had like a whole clan of people that played we had people from like Florida and New York, and at the time they didn't have clan tags built into the game, so you had to actually change your actual username, and it cost you like $10 to change it. We all had our names changed to match it.
Yeah. Speaking of early online console multiplayer, again, my neighbor Mike, his big thing was SOCOM on PS2. Like he was so deep into that game. And he actually made real life friends from that game out of people. I mean, today we think of that as being kind of crazy because we don't answer the door these days. If somebody rings the doorbell,
he's lucky I answered the phone.
Yeah,
well, I know. The second time
I know.
But it's a different time. If somebody knocked on your door in 1991 or whatever, you go answer it. But today that's a very strange thing. But
I have a caller. Who must that be?
Yeah, exactly. But back then he made a friend that was in like Florida or something, and then they connected, and I was there. I went over to his house to hang out with him when he showed up. So, and he was a really cool dude too. It was a different time, man. It was a much different time, and I hate that the future generation will not get to experience the same kind of cool stuff like that we did when we were kids. Now we're gonna get really heavy for just this.
I was excited to get heavy. I'm sorry.
I feel like nobody ever talks about this. Obviously, this is a huge thing for a lot of people, not just in America, but around the world. When people get old, they want to recollect their childhood, and there's always a very specific reason why. But I think really what it boils down to is that we miss the past for some reason. It could be because we're getting older and having a real job sucks, and being an adult and having to pay a mortgage and worry about the bills, and getting maintenance on your car, all that crap. It's a lot, and it's such a far cry from what we had when we were kids. Like, we didn't even think about that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, our parents are freaking out trying to keep that from us. But a lot of this retro gaming, collecting and getting into these video games is a way of coping with something that has happened in your childhood. Maybe you had a negative experience or something, or your loved ones are no longer here. The biggest example I can think of personally is this game right here, which is Castlevania for the Nintendo 64, which I purchased from you. We were talking about that earlier, like 4 or 5 years ago. I've had it all this time. It's a collector's item at this point because it's kind of a rare game to find, especially complete in the box. But my main reason for wanting this, I've got several different ways of playing the N64 and all its games with the Everdrives, and you can emulate and all that crap. But I wanted this not necessarily to physically play it, but to have it on a shelf as a reminder, because back in the day, this is one of the only memories that I have left of like going to Toys R Us with my dad before he passed away, and here it is. I have it. Like, I have that vivid memory of seeing it on that shelf at Toys R Us and looking at it and looking how cool this dude is with his whip, and he's got orange hair and everything, all those memories. And it's like, I wanted this back, just because it's a good memory. Not to mention the fact that it's a really awesome game that I really, really love. But that's another big reason. And you guys may, think about this from time to time, but I bet you as, video game store owners, you could appreciate that. You could appreciate somebody coming in, and they're just spending 30, 40, 50, upwards of $100 on some games that are, very expensive and hard to find, but it means something to them. And when they give you that money, they're not just buying the physical item, they're buying the item that reminds them of something special from the past that they miss. You know what I mean? So do you guys have any memories like that of games that you've enjoyed over the years that you went back to buy?
The only one that really comes to mind for me was a game that ended up being terrible, but when I was a kid I loved it, and I don't know why, but it was one specific game that I'd always think about playing just in my room by myself, was Dino City on Super Nintendo.
Dino City?
Dino City.
Is that like a Sim City type thing with dinosaurs?
It's like a platformer with dinosaurs, but
okay.
I remember loving it as a kid, and I went and bought it after I started collecting again, and hated it. I played it for like an hour, couldn't get past the first level, and I never picked it up again.
Well, we're definitely going to have to get some gameplay footage to
that was one game that I played a lot of. I went back to when I started collecting. Yeah, that's it.
Dino City.
You see?
Dino City.
It reminded, like, the front cover reminded me of Prehysteria, but it's not Prehysteria, like the movie.
Well, that's interesting. What about you?
My game like that is Bugs Life. So I had Bugs Life on PlayStation 1, and it wasn't even the full game. It was a underground. It was a PlayStation Underground. It was a demo, but I would play this demo over and over and over and over and over again. I bought that game a year ago because I was at Doubleheader. I go to Doubleheader like twice a year. I was at Doubleheader and I was like, Bugs Life. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna play Bugs Life. I want y'all to know that I got Bugs Life home. Bugs Life is one of the worst platformers that have 3D platformers that have ever been made. It was sickening. There's no reason. I now know why I wear glasses. If I was playing those, sitting this close from the TV playing those games, I was getting sick.
Definitely.
Being a store owner, well, me a part-time, you fool.
Yeah.
Being a store owner, getting to see that happen on the other side is so cool. It'll be stupid games. Somebody will come in and be like, "We dogs, my whatever," and like pets dogs for we, and they pull it out. They're like, "Oh my god, it's a $7 game," but like that is their.
That's the one.
That might be their Bugs Life. They're gonna bring that home. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is garbage," but it's a full experience.
And I think too, me and you both being collectors and players before we even start doing all that. There's a lot of businesses that sell video games that only care about the profit. Me, I think the same. Like,
I'd
rather sell it at what I paid it for if I know it's somebody that's gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I mean, $7 is so cheap to just experience that again. You know, if it's been 10, 15 years since you last played this game, you might have loved it as a kid, and then you grow up, and then it's garbage. But just to experience it, to experience the fact that it's garbage now, is worth $7 too.
And because it's physical,
exactly.
You can just do it.
Exactly. And that brings me to the next point, is why do you two choose to collect physical games over digital video games?
That's easy for me. The main example that comes to my mind is before Anthem came out. I wasn't interested in Anthem, but my brother was, and I kept telling him, I said, don't buy it digital, buy it physical, because you never know. And he bought it digital, pre-ordered it for the $60, and then like the next week it was $20 on physical.
Yeah, and now you can't give those away.
Yeah, now it doesn't even work. So that's part of the reason is I like being able to physically have it, because in that situation, if he would have bought it day one, realized it sucks, he could have traded it back in somewhere and at least got some of his money back.
Oh, he could have brought it to GameStop and got like $50.
Exactly. And so that's one thing I don't like that. And then same thing, there's lots of games like especially Rock Band and stuff. That's the one that comes to mind right now where it's delisted. You can't play it unless you have the disc. Rock Band 4.
Exactly.
I'm a hoarder, so I just like collecting stuff.
You collect a lot of stuff.
I like
man.
putting stuff on a shelf.
You've got like hats and T-shirts and like Dale.
I collect
memorabilia,
I collect
Star Wars stuff.
I collect Simpsons stuff. I collect forklift stuff, and now, accidentally, I'm collecting Honda stuff now.
Honda makes great cars though. And
bikes
too.
Bicycles.
I'm sure that they started out probably making some really good bicycles. They probably make some badass bicycles.
I have some very specific examples of why it's always a good idea to get the physical edition of a game that you want, based on the history of it being a negative thing if you don't have it. So the first one is 3D Game Heroes, which has fluctuated. It used to be a very expensive game, and then it kind of went down. I forget what it's selling for now. I paid like $60 for it. This is a PlayStation 3 exclusive. It's got Atlas and From Software attached to it. This is like a Zelda clone, like a Link to the Past, but the visuals are gorgeous and beautiful. It's got kind of a Minecraft-y situation going on there, but the point is you cannot buy this digitally anywhere. You can only buy the disc and play it on a real PlayStation 3 or emulate it on your computer. That's the only ways that you could actually play this game. And it's a great game, too, and it's a shame that this is just a drop in the freaking bucket of examples of games that are no longer available on the digital storefront. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, everything's going to be on there, but when they get that itch that we were talking about earlier to find something that they have a lot of nostalgia for from their childhood, they'll look this up and it's not there. You know, and that's just one example. We've got Streets of Rage 4, the Anniversary Edition. This includes the DLC that came out about a year or so after the original game came out. So that's a really great example of a perfect way to enjoy a game physically. If this game gets shut down digitally, I have everything that this game has to offer. The DLC, I've got all the characters and everything, as well as the different survival mode that's on this game. It's a great game, by the way. It's the best beat 'em up of all time, and I'll stand behind that for the rest of my life.
All right, pop off.
And the Jet Grind Radio for the Sega Dreamcast.
Hey!
Super, super great game. One of my favorite games of all time. It's definitely in the
Fantastic
top
game.
5. But this game is exclusive to the Dreamcast, and that's fine. However, they came out with the version on Steam, and luckily for me, I was grandfathered in. I purchased it on Steam. I still have it in my Steam library, but if you go on Steam right now and search for this, you won't find it because it's not there anymore. They took it off. That's so freaking ridiculous, and I hate seeing this so much, where there are great games that, Steam is a great way for everybody. Even if you got a crappy computer with a crappy graphics card, you could still play this game, but you can't now because it's not on there. You know what I mean?
There's a few games that make the Dreamcast extremely valuable in the sense of wanting to play games and stuff. Jet Grind Radio is, if it's not number one, it's way up there.
It's top 3 for sure.
Because it is such a fantastic game.
Is this the one you streamed and we were making fun of you for not being able to get up?
Where the river flows, I was having trouble getting up and grinding on the sides.
Where the river flows.
Yeah, you know what I'm
Jet
saying.
Grind Radio. Yeah, Soul Calibur 4 on the 360 as well as the PlayStation 3. Back in the day, the big gimmick with this game was the Star Wars characters.
Oh, yeah.
And there were exclusives, right? So on the 360, it came with Yoda, and on the PS3, it came with Darth Vader. Guess which copy sold more than the other one? Obviously, the PS3. But the point was, back in the day, if you had a 360, you didn't have a PS3, you could buy Darth Vader as a DLC character for a couple of bucks. A lot of people did that. But fast forward to today, after the acquisition of Lucasfilm and all that stuff by Disney, guess what's no longer for sale on a digital marketplace? If the digital marketplace is even there anymore, I remember before the PlayStation marketplace went down, before that digital marketplace went down, you could find it on there and buy it back in the day before that acquisition happened. But the only way, ironically, now to get that DLC, to complete it, because it's incomplete without all the characters, that's fighting games for you. To get that DLC, you have to pirate it. You have to hack your console and then find it illegally and then put it on your console. That's the only way that you can do that.
I can't believe you would even say that word in front of me.
Man, I'm getting like...
What are you, a criminal?
I care less and less about it on a daily basis, man. Obviously...
It's getting more and more just like, all right, I guess I gotta...
Yeah.
This is what you gotta do.
I guess I gotta do this.
This is what you gotta do.
I don't have a way of legally buying it, so this is the only way to do it.
But as far as like it being immoral, I bought it back in the day. But you know how we were. Poor as shit when we were growing up. So what did we do with our consoles, our Xboxes and our PlayStation 3s? We sold that shit to get something else, the PlayStation 4. So we don't have that anymore. We don't have that DLC anymore, and they won't let you re-download it. I purchased it, and it's attached to my account, but it would not let me re-download it because it doesn't exist anymore. They want to eradicate any evidence of any sort of thing because it's Disney. They're huge.
Yeah.
Now here's the kicker, the real big mother that I've saved for
This
last.
is the one I
record.
didn't even know about.
Yeah, this one is insane, dude. What we have right here is the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, which came out on the PS2, and I believe it's for the Xbox as well. Basically, at this point in time, all 3 Grand Theft Auto games for that generation had been out and about, but they bundled them all together in case you were unaware of the series or just wanted to get into it for the first time. However, several years later, we had the definitive edition, which is supposed to add it's HD now and it looks a lot better and all that good stuff. And a lot of people went for that, and rightfully so, because Grand Theft Auto is one of the most iconic game series of all time, and all 3 games are special to a lot of people. But here's what's missing. A lot of people didn't know this at launch, and they're just now realizing it years later. On Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in particular, the 2-player multiplayer iteration that's in this game, the multiplayer is gone. Back in the day, when you played as the main character CJ, you could get a girlfriend in that game, and you can go visit her at her house. You could plug in a second player controller, and your buddy becomes your girlfriend, and you're running. You guys didn't know this?
What?
Yes, dude. You could run around, get in the car together, drive around. You could do everything in that game pretty much together as a couple in that game.
I need somebody to be my girlfriend immediately.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. They took that out. Why? You know, it might have to do with Unreal Engine. Maybe there's some incompatibilities, or maybe they just didn't care enough to do that. But that's gone now. There's a few specific cheats that are disabled or didn't carry over due to technical limitations with Unreal Engine, and not to mention all the music. Licensed music.
Totally different licenses.
We've got You Dropped a Bomb on Me by the Gap Band, such an iconic song that was featured in San Andreas. You dropped a bomb on me, baby. With the sound of the shoo bomb dropping. We all remember that from San Andreas. Express Yourself, Running Away, Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty.
Oh, man.
That was such an iconic song for that game, especially when you're in like the country area of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Exactly. And you've got Funky President by James Brown, as well as Hellraiser by Ozzy Osbourne. Those songs are completely omitted from the new version of the game. But the irony is that all that stuff is still in the original version. You know, you don't have to do without. That's what you get in today's day and age when you go all digital and you start, you know, going back to legacy titles like that. They're almost guaranteed to miss something, and it's all due to licensing.
Speaking about the music, I know it's similar with Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of different songs. They had some of the same, but they had to change some up because of licensing.
Grand Theft Auto Online,
yes,
it gets updated monthly with songs that go in and fall out of license.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the way that it is. But I mean, that's just a drop in the bucket, like I said before, of reasons why you want to collect physical games, especially from back then, because if you want the same experience from back in the day, you have to get that game. And these are all great examples of that. You can still play the game. You can still play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition, and it's still a fun game, I'm sure, but there's a lot of things that are missing that really shouldn't be. Another good thing about physical games and buying and selling physical between your customers and your buddies and everything like that is great deals. You can find a great deal on a physical game just because that's a couple years old. So what's the best deal that each of you have gotten over the years? Not just in your storefront, but anywhere, before you even had a store. What's the best deal you got on a physical video game?
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it might not be the best deal looking back, but it was the first deal that made me realize that I could buy games and then sell the ones I didn't want and keep what I did want. Mm-hmm. So I went to a Goodwill and I was just looking at movies. This was before I really started collecting. I just got a Switch and started playing video games again. Mm-hmm. And they had some GameCube games, and it was like Wario Land, Mario Kart, Luigi's Mansion, and then a sealed copy of Paper Mario. Mm-hmm. And I'd never played Paper Mario anyway, but I was looking them up and I was like, oh, I could buy all these and sell that Paper Mario and pay for the others.
Exactly.
Plus have money left.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, I think I sold a sealed. It was Player's Choice. I remember it was sealed. I bought it for like $4.99 and I sold it in an auction on eBay for like $50. But it paid for what the other games I bought, plus I had some money left. So.
Side tangent, do you ever forget that you own a store and you can just play any of your games that you have?
Yeah, all the time.
I'll be literally putting it on a shelf. Like, man, I wish I had this. Like,
yeah, I can.
I can take this home. I usually don't, but I'm just like, dang.
I'm the same way. Like, there's a few games, like, one out of every, like, 100, I think, I'd like to have that. I actually take home. But most of them I just leave.
I'm going to kind of piggyback off of yours because I'm having trouble thinking of one. NCAA 14. Cody caught me on. So this is before we were even really hanging out a lot. I posted like, hey, there's games at Goodwill, I think. And Cody was like, hey, man, NCAA 14's in there. And he was like, if you don't go get it, I'm going to go get it. And I ran back in there and got it.
That's when it was going for like 120 or something.
I paid 6 or 7. And I posted it as soon as I got home. And I'd have to look, but I think it sold for 160.
Yeah, that's
and it was like 10 or 15 minutes. It was like,
wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That game, that's another reason to get physical games, because you never know what's going to skyrocket in price and in value and in rarity in the future. Like, it's a football game. Mm-hmm. There's
Michael Jackson. The Michael Jackson experience.
Yeah.
Just because the movie came out. And it's one of the most accessible games you can get. It shot up to $70, $80.
Well, actually, it went over 100 with the glove and everything.
It was
like 120.
Yeah.
Well, you remember seeing that game all the time at Game Exchange and all sorts of different stores.
Well, also, it is specifically the Wii version for some reason. Nobody cares about the PS3 or Xbox.
It's insane. It's insane. For me, I think that the best deal I ever got, and I'm sure you guys are like me, we've made a lot of questionable purchases via the Facebook marketplace over there, like some really sketchy, like we should not be doing this at all. It was a Craigslist find, and it was in West Memphis, Arkansas.
That's a bunch of
Wow,
red flags.
that is like
Yeah.
I would have put that on the back burner immediately.
It was a Sega Master System complete with the light phaser, the 3D glasses, and like 10 games complete in the box. And I took my buddy with me, of course, because I'm not going to die alone. I'm going to have him come with me and we'll die together. But she was a really nice lady. I met her at her place of work. It was like an office somewhere. And she just came outside with like a laundry basket full of games and stuff, and I paid her $50 for all that stuff. It was a great deal, and it was a great experience because she had it in her closet since like 1988 or 87 when she got it. She got it, played it for a little while as a kid, and then just put it in the closet. I guess she was doing a closet clean out. She said, "Here you go. Who wants this?" But there's so many great deals like that to be had out there, and that's another thing to worry about in the future. And when I say future, we're probably going to be dead when this happens, realistically, but that's going to be a darn shame to not have access to those cool deals. The kids today, they're not going to be able to have that.
Yeah, because they're going to have to buy it digitally for $50 for one game instead of $50 for the console and 10 games.
Exactly.
You can speak for this. People will message you and be like, "Hey, I got an Xbox Series S with 50 games on it. I don't care."
Yeah.
But eventually that might be a selling point.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
"Hey, I'll sell you my Xbox with my account, and here's my whole library."
Yeah.
That might be a thing.
It might be a thing, but good luck. In the future, man. I don't want to give away my account information and my password and everything to some stranger that I don't know.
Oh, don't worry. Xbox and PlayStation, they'll figure that out. They'll be like, here's how you sell your whole library digitally.
Yeah.
$500 you can transfer ownership.
What is the best selling item currently in your storefronts? Like, it could be Switch games are selling a lot, PlayStation 3 or whatever. What do you sell the most of on average?
Me and mine's probably gonna be a little different because I sell a bunch of VHS.
I knew you were gonna say that.
VHS and then 360. I really my top two. Yeah.
Okay.
Like all the time, 360 is consistent.
I sell a lot of 360 and I sell a lot of Wii. I get asked for 64 the most. People walk in asking for 64 the most. But yeah, 360's easy to sell. There's so many good games. You can pick up a 360 for $70 with a little bit of memory in it. They're super accessible. Yeah, I sell a lot of 360.
I say PS4 too. I do sell quite.
Whenever I first started a year ago, I sold the crap out of PS4. It slowed down.
Well, that's funny that you said VHS because I think people are they're scratching two different itches at the same time, because when you're buying VHS, it's vintage and it's cool and retro, but at the same time you own that movie and you can watch it whenever the hell you want to. That's another thing that's really starting to change in younger people, I think, is that streaming services. Back in the day, we had AT&T Uverse with 500 channels that we only watched 7 of them at any given time. So people started gravitating towards Netflix, and that was so great because you pay a small amount of money a month. I mean, those packages like Uverse, TV, Comcast and stuff like that was really expensive back in the day, and it was a monthly charge. But like $10 for Netflix, that was a really, really good deal back in the day.
Netflix was $10 a month, and it had so much stuff.
Everything. It had everything. TV shows, movies, a bunch of indie stuff on there too. But now fast forward to today, and it's gone through like a complete 180 reversal where you can watch anything that you want if you have the right subscription to the right service. So you got Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, you've got Peacock, and Tubi, and all this, and Apple, all these different services, and we're right back where we started. The only difference is that instead of paying a large lump sum, your funds are now distributed against 10 different services that you have to keep up with. So people are kind of throwing their hands up, and they're just collecting movies again. And rightfully so, because there's all sorts of instances of people buying things digitally, TV shows, for example, and then it's just gone.
I know PlayStation just did that with a bunch of movies. Like
exactly.
500-something movies that they physically took them off of people's systems.
That's the great thing.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And that's the great thing about physical media. This game right here, I can do whatever the hell I want to with it.
Yeah.
I could bury it in the backyard and piss on it. I could put it on my game shelf.
Yeah.
I could hang it up on my wall. I could do whatever I want to with this, and as long as the disc the data on the disc holds out, it's mine to do whatever I want to. I can play it for the rest of my life.
And you're talking about younger people. Surprisingly, like I sell cassette tapes too. This guy bought one from me recently, but most of the people that are buying them are actually like teenage kids.
Exactly.
Buying cassette tapes.
Exactly. Because they can't afford. They don't have a job. They can't afford these subscription services that are going up and up and up every single year. You know. What would you guys say is the trade/sell ratio of your store? Like, how many people come in to do trades versus just come in and straight up buy something and leave?
I don't know if it's because I'm in Malvern, but I'd say it's like 60% of people trying to sell me stuff, and then 40% coming in to buy.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of people trying to sell me stuff aren't there to sell and try to buy something. They're just trying to get rid of stuff.
Sure.
That is it's very, very similar. Because I'm in the arcade, I get a little bit more foot traffic, but it's little stuff. It's kids buying plush, a $5 plush, but like people like actually seeking me out as a destination. It's almost always to sell me stuff. If it's people coming to buy stuff, it's usually a trip. It's like, hey, we're from Little Rock and we're coming out to Bowman's and stopping by yours and stopping by Game Exchange, blah, blah, blah. But it is, I do mostly buying at my store, and then I do most of my selling at conventions.
Yeah, about the same.
Yep. Yeah. And that's a great way to do it, you know. That's a great way to reach a very specific audience, because a lot of the people, like you said, around here, they just don't care. You know, they've got a bunch of, we played this N64 when we were, in 5th grade or whatever, and it's been in the closet. We'll just get rid of it. We'll get some money for it.
Yeah.
People like video games now, don't they? You know, we'll just take it and sell it. That's what.
And then also, like where I am, like the whole population of the whole county I'm in is probably like 12,000 people. So
yeah,
and
exactly.
so there's not a whole lot of foot traffic coming in buying stuff unless, like he said, they're traveling in and going through the whole thing. Like, we went to Rick's and now we're going to Brand and now we're going to
I get that a lot. Hey, we're on and I'll be like, oh, hey, make sure you stop at blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So those are the ones we get, and then obviously there's a few locals that come in fairly regular, but
sure.
If it wasn't for conventions, I probably wouldn't still have the store.
Right. Okay, well, here's a very specific question that I've always wanted to ask you guys. With me personally, I take a lot of stock in value and make sure that I have achieved owning all of the Everdrives and optical drive emulators for various consoles that I possibly could, just because the fact that these companies and all these license deals can go south and they can take away your digital things whenever the hell they want to, whether you've paid for it or not. So I like having the option of being able to play and have access to whatever game that I possibly want. Do you guys ever feel threatened by that? By like, for example, the N64, the Summer Cart 64 is a pretty cheap Everdrive or flash cart solution. Do you ever feel threatened by that, or do you think the general public just doesn't really, they're not aware of it, that sort of thing?
I'm not threatened by it because I think the general public just thinks that they're a lot harder to use than they really are, so they're afraid of them.
Yeah, they're a little off-putting, because especially like if you fire up an older one for the N64, and it just looks like a terminal with words. People are like, "Oh my god, what is this? Like, how do I even operate this?" I get them every now and then and resell them. I don't care, because people are collecting. Like, if somebody buys an Everdrive, it's like just because they just want to experience everything really quick. Like actual collectors.
I'm saying, even you talk about you have all that, but you got a whole
full
of actual physical games. So.
Sure. Well, my situation is that I only really go out and spend money on games that mean something to me, or games that I think are obviously I've got a lot of PlayStation 5 games over there and PlayStation 4, because that's recent current stuff that you can go out and buy. But as far as like this Castlevania, like I said, I never played this. I'll just play it on the Everdrive. But I can do that legally because I own the game. It's mine. I can do that. But as far as collecting, I only really go out and try to buy stuff that I just know that I really love, and it would mean something to me to have it on the shelf. But I'm totally headfirst into Everdrive ODE stuff, man, because I think it is cool. I love being able to do it, you know what I mean? Being able to actually do this. You've got one cartridge with an SD card inside of it, and you can play everything on there. It's the ultimate console experience historically. You've got everything.
I went through the thing where I got all those Everdrives. Like, I had the SD to SNES, all the higher end one.
Yeah,
and then
I know what you're gonna say.
I was just like, I played like 5 of these games.
Exactly, it's too much. It's too much. But that's the big the big thing for me is that I get that feeling too, the overwhelming feeling of this is all a bunch of games I'm just never gonna play, But at the same time, it's nice to have access to it.
Right.
Here's a big question, and don't you lie to me. Neither one of you better lie to me. You better tell me the truth.
I don't lie.
Being physical game store owners, do you guys ever purchase digital games for your personal, collection on your consoles?
Yes. Especially, I go specifically to where the sales are, and if a game's like, I've been wanting to play and say it's like normally $50, even physical, like maybe $30. They have it for like $2.99. I'm gonna buy the digital one.
Of course.
Only on Steam. I don't like to give PlayStation or X. I have like Game Pass, so like I'll download games and play them every now and then. But Steam sales is really where I'll rack up. And
See, I do the Switch mostly.
the thing about that is, if the Steam server room ever gets exploded, God forbid. I mean, we're done. I mean, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news: the Steam server room has been exploded.
A second plane has hit the Steam server room.
Well, I mean, that's interesting too, because I do buy games on Steam. That's the only place digitally I'll buy.
Yeah, see, I don't have a computer good enough to try to do it. So.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're on sale, of course, yeah. But that's an interesting point with the Game Pass. See, that, me personally, not anything against you, but I can't stand that. And I absolutely, completely refuse to be a part of a subscription-based marketplace where you pay a monthly subscription to play games that you have access to for only that amount of time. That has always been, from day one, I knew I didn't want anything to do with that.
So my only defense with that is, with Xbox specifically, there's been, the last year or two, a lot of their first party games haven't been released physical at all, so that's really the only way to play those ones.
Yep. And that sucks, man. That sucks that they're only allowing you to do it via that digital subscription. Yeah,
and the price went up recently, semi-recently.
Yeah, but one thing that I do with Xbox Game Pass is I do go and purchase the game later. A Plague's Tale. I'd never even heard of that game. One night I was bored, Game Pass. It kind of looked like The Last of Us a little bit. I love The Last of Us. I downloaded it. I played it and fell in love with it. I as soon as the second one came out, I bought it. I'm waiting on the Residence, the Plague Tale. Anyways, Game Pass exposed me to it, and then I went and bought it, and that's valuable to me. Same thing happened with Control on PlayStation. Yeah. I played, it was one of the free games one month or something. Yeah. And I played Control, and it changed my life. I love that game. Went and bought it physical. Can't wait for the next one to come out. That's something that has been valuable to me with Game Pass, but I will tell you, I got into Game Pass whenever everything was hunky-dory, and it was here's all your games, and it's only $20 a month or whatever. It has gotten more and more volatile, and during the price change, I almost canceled. They grandfathered me in, so I didn't get the price change, and then the second price change hit, and then I did get hit. I got Game Pass when I was very poor. I can, and I have the game store now. Now I can afford to, go find that game myself a little bit more. Yeah. But I do like getting randomly exposed to games, though. I do like that. Just hand me a game if you ever see me out in public.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll play it.
Sneak King.
But
don't hand me Sneak King.
No, God. But that is an interesting point, how you essentially use Game Pass as a digital blockbuster, like a rental.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, you could just play it and complete it and everything, but you're using it in such a way that you try the games, and if you don't like them, then you just get.
It's almost like getting the demos without having to
do the demos. When I started Game Pass, that was kind of me making myself feel better about it. I was like, well, I'll only do this if I like a game, and then I'll go buy it physically. That was kind of me coping a little bit.
Me personally, though, I've done that too, because I've got PlayStation Plus. I canceled it. It's going to be around until it expires.
So I only have PlayStation Plus because I got a portal recently, so I could actually stream the games through it.
I also have PlayStation Plus. I'm canceling it as soon as possible. Sony has pissed me off forever.
Yeah, the only reason I have it is for the PlayStation Plus, or for the portal. That
we're probably deep enough into the video that I can say this, but fuck Sony.
Fuck Sony, dude. Sony. Somebody had to do it, and they did it. Fuck them.
Yeah. If I know it's a digital game that's locked with that subscription, and if I end that subscription, that game's gone forever, I can't get into it. And it must be a similar feeling to people where they're overwhelmed with emulation. You know, all the choices that you have on emulation. I feel that very similar feeling in my chest, where it's like I can't really commit to this, knowing that it's not mine.
I used to be an emulation snob. I used to be like, I used to think emulating was like bad. I used to think that was a cop out, and it was, you know, just people being lazy. Now, I mean, I'm emulate it, like do it. It's affordable. It's very accessible. It kind of looks scary. It's super accessible.
Well, same thing. Like how you said that, I have people that come in sometimes like, oh, I've been wanting to play this game and they don't have the money. I'm like, emulate it.
You can emulate it, man.
I'm losing myself a sell, but
but like if they love it, they're gonna come back and be like, hey, you think you can never find me that game?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, having access to play the game is the most important thing.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, you know, I think it's better on original hardware. Depends on the game, of course. You know, we could talk about that for a very long time, but just having access to the game is what's important for sure.
Yep.
You have children.
I do.
You're a father. Yeah. So compare your childhood with video games to your children's current childhood. I'm assuming that they play video games, right?
My son does. I'll start. I'll just go down my age group. My 13-year-old daughter, she pretty much just plays like Roblox on her phone.
Sure.
And she did have a PS4 for a little while. That was obviously mine. I put it in there, and she played The Sims. But those are really the only two that she ever played. My 11-year-old son, though, he plays Minecraft, Roblox, Fortnite. Subnautica is a big game that he's played. And every time he asks for a new game, I try to get him to go and find it physical. And he does not care. He wants to order it right then and there and get it.
Oh,
instant.
yeah. Instant gratification. That's it.
There it is right now. I can have it in seconds, depending on the internet connection.
Exactly.
Whenever not to derail you, whenever GTA 6 announced and they were like, you can go to PlayStation and pre-order it right now, I loaded up my PlayStation and I looked at the pre-order screen and I went, stop. Like literally, I was so excited, but then because I can buy it right now.
Well,
hey,
they don't need pre-order.
It don't come out for 4 months, and I'm never getting a physical disc. Then I was like, all right. So I had to calm down. But
that's one thing I never understood either, is pre-ordering a digital version of a game.
No.
It's going to be there. You don't have to pre-order it. It's not going to sell out.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing that's kind of concerning. And obviously, I'm not trying to take a dig at your kids or anything, but it's all kids around that age these days. It's just Fortnite and Roblox. You know what I mean? And that's really alarming, considering that both of those games have situations where you can give them real money out of your credit card. You know, I've seen so many kids, and I interact with a lot of kids throughout the week because I'm a guitar teacher and I teach a lot of kids how to play music. You know, but naturally, I try to force video game music to teach the kids because it's fun. You know, it's a really fun way to learn how to play an instrument. But my concern is that I'm running out of topics as far as video games are concerned to talk about with these kids because they only want to talk about Roblox or Fortnite.
Right.
Know? And these are all like, you could kind of consider them to be live service games, you know? Because they update all the time, and there's all sorts of games within games that you can play. So it's becoming like an ecosystem and an environment that will, you know, give you more cosmetic stuff if you pay more money. But back in the day, when we wanted to unlock that really badass outfit for Heihachi and Tekken 4,
you just had to
grind at it, man. Just play the damn game, you know?
Yep.
I remember grinding, I mean, it's super common and everybody talks about it, but 007. I remember grinding 007, and one of the last levels, it's like an Aztec something, and I can't remember what you had to do to unlock that, but I couldn't do it, and it was like one thing that I had to get my big cousin to do to help me.
Yeah. Even though that this is only happening in 2028, and it's just for Sony as of this time, you know. But do you realistically see an impact on your store due to this decision in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
So I did. I actually I was talking, as soon as they announced that, I was talking to some other people over there at the shop that said for probably like the next 5 years or so, I feel like it's going to be real beneficial because people are going to be buying more physical, I feel like, and all that.
It's
and then
going to be a hot topic.
After that, I feel like it's going to start getting harder to get stock in again because people are going to be hoarding what they do have, and there's nothing new to add to your trade-ins.
I kind of foresee that, you know, this is such an up and down market with some of these games, and it's kind of on a console per console basis based on the age bracket, you know? Like, Dreamcast was really popular because of people that were in their mid-20s. We've got jobs that pay our bills and stuff, and for the first time we've got actual money that we can buy stuff with. And so we're buying a bunch of stuff that we had as a kid or stuff that we couldn't afford as kids. So that is always going to keep going and going and going, but eventually that will reach around to the PlayStation 5 when these kids are old enough. There's kids right now that are going to be playing their PlayStation 5, but when they're our age, in 75 years, they're going to be looking at all these games that they either can't buy anymore or they just have to get digitally.
Yep.
And they're going to be looking at a title that came out in 2028 that's still at whatever price point Sony decides. You really think they're going to
Well, that
put a
and then
$5
all they're
price
going to do is
tag on
keep
that?
remastering, re-releasing the same games and putting them back at
Every
full price.
single
At full
year,
price.
yes.
Sell it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Sell it
Exactly.
forever.
Are you going to buy the next generation console if it's all digital?
No. It took me forever to even buy the current generation consoles, and they're not digital. So
Sure.
if it was all digital,
If
there's no interest for me.
If that ever happens, I just build myself a badass PC
Yeah.
and just totally switch. I have a really good PC right now. It was a really good PC like 5 years ago.
Sure.
That's my only complaint with PCs is they just
It-
stuff ages
I-
out so fast.
it-
It
if-
does,
if they-
especially now.
If next PlayStation 6, whatever, if all digital, I'll just switch over. I love God of War and I love The Last of Us, but I would miss out if they were exclusive.
My favorite two
because
exclusive PlayStation games are the Ghost of Tsushima games.
oh yeah,
It's a great
and
game.
then the Spider-Man.
oh yeah, that's another. I have a Spider-Man tattoo. I love Sony and I love PlayStation, but no.
Yeah.
I used to.
I used to. I used to. We used to have something.
Just like a nasty breakup, I used to.
And like I said earlier, somebody had to do it, and like Sony's doing it, but like it still sucks so bad. We all knew it was coming.
I figured
And
Xbox would be the
they're
one to
even
do it
saying,
first, though.
and it's not
Yeah, I
even,
thought
it's
so
not even
too.
happening now. It's happening 2 years from now. But still, we're just like, damn, what the fuck?
Yeah, I thought for sure Xbox would be first since they released the One S all digital.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
they did the Series S before.
Well, like a decade ago, they were trying to make it the living room, entertainment
Entertainment,
package.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. It really is a damn shame, especially considering that Sony owns Blu-ray.
Yes.
They own
Yeah,
it,
that's-
Yes.
So they're just like, even
You're
though,
making
like,
the disc.
Fuck our
Yeah.
own product.
Exactly. They stand to make more money, just continuing to have you pay these subscription fees and pay full price for digital games that are 10 years old.
I kind of have a feeling that if they don't do it, somebody is going to make some kind of add-on that's like USB powered that will run disc still. And there'll be companies like
Yeah.
Limited Run and all that.
Oh yeah, there will always be a boutique market because vinyl still has a boutique market, cassette still has a boutique market. Movies have boutique markets because there's Anchor Bay and there's
Criterion.
Shout Factory, Criterion. There will always be boutique people selling video games, I think, but like the days of just going and buying the newest Need for Speed, a physical disc of a new Need for Speed game, like that's gonna be gone. It's gonna come to PlayStation store one day early and then the Xbox store the next day or something. That's how it's gonna be forever.
That's how they're going to handle the exclusive. You can get it on PlayStation a day earlier.
Well, if you guys have been watching this video this entire time, I think it's safe to say that you're definitely a super fan of physical media and that you're really upset like we are at the fact that physical media is going away. But nevertheless, we are a small minority. Even if this video gets a ton of views, it's still a small minority of people because the numbers are telling the truth and the facts right now. So let's go over some of that before we end this video. Physical media game sales now hover between 10 and 15% of total publisher software revenue across major companies like Sony and Square Enix, though Nintendo maintains a higher physical share at roughly 38.5%. Now, if we're talking about specific publishers, Sony/PlayStation, digital sales reached a record of 85% of all full game sales, leaving physical media at roughly 15%.
So it's your fault.
It's our fault, yes. Yes, and that's why I was asking you guys, do you ever buy digital games? It's too tempting sometimes. I don't blame you for that. If you find a digital game, even on PlayStation, if there's a game that was like a really good indie title or something a couple of years ago, now it's on sale for like $2 or $3, of course you're going to go for that deal.
That, and you also have those that if they were indie ones, the physical game might be $80 now because it's hard to find.
Exactly. So digital isn't necessarily all bad. You can get a great deal on digital, but it's adding up. Everybody is choosing to go digital over physical, and as a result, you have these drastic numbers showing how how much people are really into digital these days. They don't realize the repercussions of physical media. So Square Enix digital channels account for approximately 90.1% of all of their overall game sales. 90% of people that play Final Fantasy type stuff are just buying the game digitally. Capcom is another big one. Digital sales represent about 93 to 95% of their total volume. 95%. So we're talking Resident Evil 9, Resident Evil Requiem, which is a great game that I actually absolutely went to the store, went to Best Buy day one to get that game because I was so excited for it. 95% of people just downloaded it day one, played it day one.
I can't do Resident Evil games.
That's because you're scared.
Yeah,
you're
Resident Evil 4 is the only one I've been able to beat. All the rest, I get jump scared and I put the controller down and never pick it up again.
To be fair though, Resident Evil 4 is the best one.
Well, that's
it is the best
and even that, it was the remake on PS5.
Yeah.
Physical.
Okay. So Nintendo seems to be the outlier here compared to everybody else. It retains the strongest boxed game footprint with physical media accounting for 38.5% of its software titles.
And you can kind of tell that if you go to Walmart.
Yeah, there's lots
like
of games there.
one row, just one row of Xbox games, one little cabinet of PlayStation, and then like 2 or 3 cabinets of Switch.
And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just Nintendo and that's just how Nintendo fans are. You know, they're big into physical media. Or maybe it's because of the game cards. They like putting those in there. You know, it feels... it's a handheld thing, you know?
Well, and like Nintendo has always skewed more towards their nostalgia. Like they've always banked more on their nostalgia
It's
and stuff.
always their characters,
and then like
too.
PlayStation and Xbox have always been like, we're on the cutting edge of everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it's just people being like, hey, I like to go buy my Nintendo game and put it in my hand and put it in my Switch and play it. You were talking about Sony, and like while y'all were talking, I just pulled up the comments. I don't know what game this is.
That looks like Ghost of
Ghost of Tsushima. Anyway, so I just wanted to look at the comments just to see what people were saying, and of course, it's no disc, no buy, no disc, no buy. I'm talking about 18,000 comments of no disc, no buy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get online and do that. I do it on almost every post just because I think it's hilarious. But like even in your video, you were talking like, hey, it's easy for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to get on post and say, hey, we're not buying no disc. We're not buying your next game if you're not selling disc. That doesn't actually happen.
Doing it
that's
is a different
not,
story.
That's not real. Like,
I think in the internet, you know, I see this in my comment section all the time. People just like to bitch and complain.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
And they like to troll people because it's fun for them. I never personally saw any interest in that because, you know, I'm a, you know, decent human being.
I'll
you know,
troll this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I like to, you know, I'll comment on something if I have something to say.
Think you could bring something to it.
Bring something to the table, you know,
Yeah.
of course. But there are people that just like to get on and complain, and especially troll a big corporation like Sony, despite the fact that they probably will end up buying a digital PlayStation 6 in the future.
That's yeah. See, that's another thing. That you know, like me sitting here saying, "Hey, I'm not going to buy a PS6. I'll only upgrade my PC." Like it's easy to say right now, but like you know, I got to follow through.
We're looking at the market research here that states that Nintendo hardware captures roughly 63% of all new physical video game sales in the United States, followed by PlayStation at 32%, and Xbox is just under 5% because you love Game Pass so much.
I can tell you from owning a game store that the Xbox games
They don't
do
sell.
not sell.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't even
there's
buy
no
them a lot.
branding. There's no branding for Xbox games. It just says Xbox, and you don't know, is it for the Series X or is it for the Xbox One or whatever.
When I started my game store, I separated them. I separated Xbox One games and Xbox Series games.
I never have.
and then Shelby started helping me, and she was like, "Hey, this is too confusing. We're just putting them together." And I went, "All right, whatever."
Yeah.
Because it is. It's dumb.
Their whole naming thing with Xbox.
I agree.
so,
I agree. Series.
yeah. And then
But it's
people are like,
okay.
I got an Xbox One Series X. I'm like,
It's
what the
okay.
fuck
Archer
is that?
Sharma.
Yeah.
Like,
what the fuck is it? Is this baseball? You know.
Archer Sharma is gonna save us all.
I hope she does. I hope she does make some really good changes
I
because
mean, Phil Spencer at least got stuff going the right way when he first took over because
Yeah.
it was just marketed as, like he said, like this is your new DVR box pretty much.
Exactly.
And it plays games.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, well, the only other question I have is where can we find you guys online if we want to purchase video games and consoles from you that aren't local to Central Arkansas? Where can we find you?
Well, hopefully by the time this video goes up, I'll have my actual website up that has Shopify and all my store inventory on it. and it'll have the option to ship or local pickup, but it'll just be Bowman Games. Shopify. I don't know. I'll make sure he has the link. Instagram, Facebook. You can message me if you see something in one of my pictures you want, and I'll ship it out.
Yeah, we'll put all the social media stuff, every place that you can find those guys in the description of this video.
But right now, it's just Whatnot. So if you want to buy something from me, go follow me on Whatnot. I might run a show sometime. Other than that, Arkansas Picker everywhere.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming out here. This is early in the morning, by the way. This is like, we started at like, what, 9:30ish or something like that this
Yeah, it
morning?
should have been earlier.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's currently Saturday, and you guys got to get out of here so you can go run your video game stores. It's a busy day for you guys,
Yep.
but I appreciate you taking the time to come out here and do this video. We appreciate you guys watching. Let us know how you feel about physical video games in the comments section below. How do you feel about the fact that in 2028 they're going bye-bye for PlayStation, and probably with other people like Xbox in the future as well? Let us know the answers to all those questions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, as well as checking out some of the other videos that you can find in the description below. And we'll catch you guys at the very next video. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye. That's it.
And y'all keep picking.
Y'all keep picking. Y'all keep picking.